Okay, hello, hello, hello. Welcome again to Otis Frampton Live. So, today, let me get my chat set up. Going to be continuing the Procreate Dreams demo that I began yesterday. I will be keeping an eye on the chat, but going to try not to reply to chat today as I'm going through the demo. I'll leave a spot at the end to answer any questions you have. First thing I want to do, first thing I want to do is go into what I did yesterday. I did a little bit of work after the fact on it, but some of you may have been very confused by how much trouble I was having getting the timing right. And I finally figured it out after the fact, unfortunately. I'd done it the right way before during my prep. But basically, this is how I ended up having to fix the issue of a little bit of overlap in the scrolling background. And this is how I did it. I had to put each subsequent image of the background underneath the previous one, and that basically solved the problem of any overlap or weird jittery background motions. So I apologize for wasting everyone's time yesterday. Hopefully I didn't waste too much. And just to show you where, this is where it's at right now, the background. I have a lot of work to do still, but I threw some more ships in there. I sped up their transitions from right to left, so they're a little faster. And that's where we're at. For the background stuff, I'm going to be adding headlights to the ships. I'm going to be adding a couple more variations of ships. And then when I get to the episode where I cover lighting, that's all going to be like interior lighting. And it's going to add a lot to the idea that there are ships moving left to right, because we'll have a little bit of light coming in advance of them before they pass, and it'll really sell it. All right. Today is about character animation. And so the first thing I'm going to do actually is take that file where I work on the background alone, and I'm going to duplicate it. I'll rename this as main, because this will be my main comp, so to speak. Once I finish the background animation, I'll send that out as its own individual video file and bring it into this one, so that that's just playing in the background. It won't be animation that the iPad and Procreate Dreams has to deal with as I'm animating other things, and it'll work really well. So we got this. So that's the reason I duplicated this is because I already have let's see. Yeah, I already have the audio file in here, so I'm just going to delete these other tracks. Delete all this stuff. Delete track. All right. So now we got the audio in there, the same length. I don't have to worry about making that over again. I'm going to go back into Procreate to my original file, and actually first I'm going to split view these. So I've got Procreate and Procreate Dreams next to each other. What did I want to do? Here's what I wanted to do. I want to duplicate the foreground elements here. And I'm going to flatten those. Create just flat versions. And then I'm going to take these and drag them into Procreate Dreams. Looks like I put it back to back. We don't want that. We want them like this. Whoops. We want them like this, actually. Drag them back to the beginning. Actually, let's drag this onto this track, this onto this track. And then I'm going to select each of these, and I'm going to click on Fill Duration so that it fills the entire duration. Actually, let's move this up here. There we go. So now we got the foreground and background in separate layers. Nothing in these layers will be animated except for some lights will blink on and off on top and bottom, but we can do that later. For the most part right now, I just want to have those two layers in there. So when the characters in there, they're in between, which we'll deal with right now. So I'm gonna delete these, just get them out of the way. Now let's go to our characters. I already have these flattened. So we're just gonna select all these layers from my folder and we're gonna drag them in here, put them between there. Once again, they put them in on the same layer, so we don't want that. So let's reorganize here. Put the head in front of the arm. Here, let me close this up. I don't think we need Procreate Dreams anymore, or Procreate. We need Procreate Dreams. I'm just going to delete that. We've got the body. Let's put the body here. And the arm, back arm goes all the way behind. That's right. Cool. All set up. Now I'm going to go in and rename all this stuff eventually, but for now, I'm going to click on Timeline Edit, and I'm going to select all these layers, click on one of them, and I'm going to group them. And there we have the group. I'm going to rename this right away. I'm going to call this guy the dude. One thing I said yesterday that I would really appreciate in a future update for Procreate Dreams is an automatic function for cleaning up tracks, because like when you move things around, it leaves empty tracks in there and it drives me nuts. It really drives me nuts. I wonder, is there a way to just... No, can't even select those empty tracks. Frustrating. But I'm sure that I'll get around to adding that. I'm going to click on this, fill duration. Forgot to do that already on these, but I'll make sure that these are all the entire duration of the timeline. All right, so we got it all set up here. One thing I'm going to do here is click on the folder. Why is it not doing it? Oh, there we go. And I'm going to, where is the, yeah, I'm going to change this color. This, you see what I did there? I changed the name, gave it a green color, same color as him, be easy to remember. This way it's easy to find on the timeline and know where to jump to. You can do that with any of the tracks. Change the color of them so that you can stay organized. All right, now, where is, oh yeah, it's something. I'm going to delete these tracks just to get them out of the way so that things are cleaned up and you can see what I'm doing, and I can see what I'm doing. All right, there we go, clean timeline. Foreground, character group, background, audio. I gotta make sure that, do I have my audio up? So that you can, because I'm gonna have to be able to hear this, because I'm gonna animate to the audio, and hopefully it won't bother you guys too much, but that's part of the process. So let me just go back, drag the timeline down. By the way, here's a simple trick for Procreate Dreams. If you're on the timeline anywhere and you just want to quick play it, you can throw that back, the playhead, and it'll automatically play. It's a neat little easy way of just, when you're working around, just go like that, and it starts playing so you can review stuff. So, I don't know, I have my headphones on for this episode because I'm going to need them. We need to hear. So let's hit play. Is that loud enough? Too loud? Let me know in the comments if I need to go lower or higher for the audio for that so you can hear it. So, I'm going to animate this character to the audio because I want his head kind of bobbing, and that's one of the purposes of, or one of the things I wanted to do with this piece is animate a character to audio slightly. I've done it before, with lip syncing to dialogue, but I want to do something more, musical this time around. All right, so I'm first going to go in. I'm going to rename these so they're easy to see. There's foreground arm. I'm going to rename this as body. And I use all caps when I'm naming these because it's easier to read when you're working around the timeline. Head and background arm. Looking to see if anybody's let me know. No? Okay. All right, so the head is going to be the main thing that I'll be animating today, and I'll probably go back and do some slight animations on the background arm, but we need to do that right now or today. But I do know that I might animate this guy's smile slightly. I might have his smile go up just a bit, and maybe his eyes kind of come down to a little more slits as he's grooving to the music. So what I'm going to do here actually is turn that off for now. Turn the audio off. I'm going to create a brand new track above the head. I can't name it unless there's something in there. That's funny. Well, doesn't matter. Let's see. Let me just draw something in there just for now. There. Now there's content in the track. I'll just filtration and rename it mouth. All right, and turn that off. I want to create the track now because I want to group this, group it, then I'm going to name this group head comp. Kind of using After Effects terminology here, just to keep things organized, and anybody who's watching who uses, After Effects or those kinds of programs can follow along. So I got the head comp here, and so here's the reason I'm doing that. Creating the head as a group already. I'm going to animate the entire group with the movements of the head, so that later on, if I do add changes in there, like frame by frame changes or just any other kind of changes, those tracks will also be animated along with the main head comp. If I just animated the head and then went in and tried to change features on the face afterwards, it'd be a little bit more difficult. You could do it, but it wouldn't be as easy as just animating the group. So if you're animating elements within elements that are aligned with other parts, it's best to group things so that you can always know that the main animated part is going to move along with the new additions. Thanks, Southern GFX. Appreciate it. Yeah, Dark Gentleman 2 over on YouTube telling me my audio is good. Appreciate it. All right. So, I'm going to take this main head comp. I'm going to add a move and scale. Move and scale action to it. That way, if I want to move it over time, this can happen. Tweening, interpolation. It's one of the great features of delete this. Of Procreate Dreams. It doesn't just do frame to frame animation, but it incorporates tweening and keyframes into it. It's a great feature. So we got that set up, and get this. See the whole timeline. I want to be on that. There you go. Okay, so why did it move? That's weird. I want to see the whole timeline. Why can't I see the whole timeline? That's frustrating. Okay, we're gonna try this, see if it works. Yeah, that's frustrating. I'm gonna drag the audio up here so I can deal with this track. There we go. Now, to animate this, at first I think I'm going to use the performance tool. I think it's called performance, where you can actually move something and it'll create keyframes to animate it. So let me just give you an example. I'll do it without the audio first. You hit this record button, and now all you have to do is, with your Apple Pencil or your finger, is touch the content that you want to animate, and you can move it around and it'll record that. I'm showing you an example here, then I'm going to erase that. So this head's going way wild. Now, see, it created all those keyframes. If you play it back, look at that. Pretty cool. It's really, it's one of my favorite features of Procreate Dreams, because it takes sort of the stale nature of keyframing and tweening and interpolation, and gives you an actual ability to perform the animations. I mean, it's all in the title. It really is a great function. I'm going to get rid of all that by double tapping. Now, one thing I also want to do is, let's see. I think the easings are set to ease in and out. Let me set the easings to linear, so there's no ease in, ease out. And now I'm going to try this again. And now let's play it back. It's a little bit more. It's probably better, actually, because I'm going to get rid of those. When it comes to the performance, you're naturally going to do more smooth motions for most things, I would say. So if you give the program the ability to create ease ins and ease outs from each of the keyframes, it's going to act a lot slower. So keep that in mind when you're doing performance with these things. All right, I think I'm going to jump in here, and so the idea is that he's kind of bobbing his head, and it gets more pronounced over the course of, I think it's 27 seconds of music. Oh, I gotta trim those. Doesn't matter. All right, so let's get back up to the correct keyframe track. I'll turn on the audio, and as soon as this starts, I'm going to be performing. So here we go. I hope this works. All right, let's play it back. It's the performing makes it so easy to create these like really fun movements. Makes me laugh already. Frankly, it kind of works for me. I might make some slight tweaks to it, but that kind of works. I might cut out some of his movements right away so he really eases into the movements more. I love animating. I really do. I don't get to do it for my work, Even when I did work for How It Should Have Ended, I was only a character and background artist. But I love doing animation. It's so much fun. I wish I had more time to do it, but it really is just a hobby. All right. Okay. I'm gonna drag the audio down back down where it was down here and get rid of that. Delete this track. All right, so the head comp has been animated. Now, that didn't take less time than I thought it would. I'm sorry if I'm all giggly, but it just makes me so happy. I love animating stuff like this. It's so much fun. So, excuse me. Next thing I'm going to do is animate the arm. I don't need the audio for this. To just give it like slow, sort of subtle movements. You can see, and you know, sort of as he's flying, just to give it a little bit of life. Oh, it already recorded that. Let's get rid of that. We don't want that. Turn the record off. Yeah, always remember to turn the record off when you're done. It's kind of like, you know, in Photoshop and Procreate and other programs, layer management. Make sure you're on the right layer before you do anything. That's a big deal. Make sure that you turn on and off that record function. All right. So let's take this, add a move and scale to it, and once again, oops, I'm just gonna begin. You're not getting the audio here because it doesn't really matter. He's just flying his car. And I didn't want big movements, just, you know, small movements. I am going to turn the audio on to review it. The whole thing. Oh, here's another trick. So one of the great things about the Procreate Dreams is you can scale the timeline, you can move it around. But you might not know this, but you can also scale it left and right. So if you only want to deal with, you know, with this size, you can do that. It's a 3-finger movement to scale left to right. You can do the same with up and down to reveal more on the timeline. Let's just get there. So the timeline, when you play it, it plays whatever is in this area. So if I zoomed in and hit play, it would only play this part and then loop back around. Head movements might be a little too big. Turn the audio off. I'm just going to play through, well, maybe turn the audio on so you have something to listen to when I do this. But I'm going to play through the whole thing and just watch the two animations together. Oh, you know what? I might have forgotten to change the easings here. Let's click on linear. It looked a little slow to me, like it was slowing down my already subtle movements. Let's try this again. Yeah, it's not much movement. I might want to actually add a little bit more. Yeah, it's a little too subtle right now. My whole point in making it really subtle was I didn't want to distract from the movements of the head, and there's already going to be enough movement going on. Another thing I might want to do with the background arm is go in and add some I guess, is it lateral? Is that the term? Give a little bit of rotation to it. I can try that. And I don't have to really even change anything. Just go back, because it'll add the rotation movements to the same keyframe track here. But if I click on the background arm, the way to do this is, let me zoom in really close so you can see. You click on one of the corner dots and a little rotation symbol appears. It's pretty subtle, but and see there you can rotate. Now, what I probably want to do is change the anchor point. I should have done that at first, actually, and I might have to go back and do that. But I'll change the anchor point. Right now, it's set to this. It's always sent to the center of whatever you're animating. But you click on the three dots here. I can edit the anchor point. Now I can move it back to where his arm is, or his shoulder is. Put it right there. Done. Let's see how that changes. It's probably not going to change too much that way, but let's go in and add some movement. Whoops, that was scaling. I don't want to do that. It's really subtle. There. Yeah, I'm gonna have to change it. I should have done the anchor point change before I animated the entire thing and done the rotation animation. Done the rotation animation first, but you get the point. It won't take long to redo that, and the animation on the background arm isn't so set in stone that I can't change it later. But that's how you do that. I guess I hadn't considered doing the rotation yet, but it looks a little stiff just going left and right. So something to consider if you want to give something rotations on multiple axes. Make sure you set your anchor point first. This can be really useful in things like, say you're animating a bird flying away from camera. You're probably going to have the anchor point set to a center so that when you rotate it rotates that way. But if you're animating something like this, like say you're animating a robot arm, you're going to want to set the anchor point to where the body connects with it, so that's always moving this way instead of rotating from the center. It's a simple thing that even I forget every once in a while. All right. So that's that. Let me just think. Yeah, I'm going to give you a preview of, I forget what I'm working on tomorrow or Friday. Let me just go into my schedule. Schedule for Friday the 10th. Weather animation, good, because that's what I'm going to show you here. A little preview of a test I did this morning, just to of what I kind of have in mind for. I'm going to have raindrops hitting the windshield and probably a windshield wiper coming back and forth. But for the side windows, I wanted to have like streaks of rain coming down. One of the things that I looked at for an examples of this is there's a sequence in the movie Ponyo by Studio Ghibli, Miyazaki film, where the mom is in the car and she's driving and the waves are crashing and there's rain coming down. And I looked at how they did the streaks in the glass, and that's kind of what I'm going to do. And I just did a quick test. It's going to be a little bit more subtle, but I just painted this in real quick just to see what it might look like with streaks. So that's and there's going to be multiple ones. It won't just be one at a time. There'll be multiple ones in different shapes, but that's sort of the idea. And you can actually, it's also a preview of what I have in mind for the lighting when the cars pass. You can see that too here, but we'll cover that later. That involves the use of masks, because one of the cool things about Procreate Dreams is you can mask entire layer groups. So that's what I've done here. I've created a mask to add the lighting just to the inside of the cockpit. All right, so that's what that's going to look like. This is what we got so far. I still need to finish up the background, render that out to its own video file, and throw it in the background. Whoops. But we got this guy grooving a little bit, and his arm moving a little bit. It looks really simple and subtle, but when you have the music in there, I think it really... When you next see this, I might have gone back and redone it, because I'm seeing things now in this first performance that I like, some things that I don't like, and so I might go back and do a take 2 and see if I can get a better performance out of it. Maybe just duplicate the entire group so that I have a separate one that I'm animating, and then I've got a backup for it. One more thing that I'm going to add at a certain point. I haven't had time to paint it. But if you watch the preview of this demo series, I had a little alien hula girl on the dashboard. I'm going to put that in there and animate her bobbing back and forth too. So there'll be a little bit of fun stuff in the foreground too. Just, the cop's got one little piece of personal flair in his cop car, and that's it. It's this little hula girl dancer, and she's going to be moving back and forth. To the beat of the music also. All right. That was a quick one. What time is it? Yeah. But, I mean, that's pretty much it for what we're doing with the character animation. I didn't plan much for it, or plan to have much animation. It was just basically his head bobbing, and it's quick. One of the things that is great about this demo is that it shows how quickly you can just throw down some animation like that and get it in the can, and then move on. So that's cool. All right, right now I'm just going to open up the chat for any questions you might have about what I've done here and what I am doing. Let's see. Bear Edwards on yeah, grooving. YouTube, what if you added his finger tapping along with the beat? I thought about that. It would be really easy to do, actually. Maybe I will, but the way I drew it, it would be really subtle and really, I'm not sure if anybody would notice, but good idea. Maybe I'll incorporate it. I can still do that because I really haven't done any animation at all on the foreground arm. Another thing that might add to the animation is if I separated the shoulder pad out as its own piece and then did sort of subtle movements with it while he's bobbing his head, so it looked like there was a little bit of secondary motion in there when he's moving his head forward, so it didn't look so static and stale in the foreground. But we'll see. That'd be fun. Looking for questions. Dark Gentleman says, read my mind, little accent motions. I'm not sure what that was in reference to, but yeah, one of the fun things about this kind of animation is finding ways to plus it in little ways. This isn't a huge piece of animation in terms of the workload or even the intention. I just wanted to put something together that was fun and would give me a chance to do little things here and there. I've never done the kind of like weather animation that I'm going to be doing with the streaking windows. So we'll see. The other thing that's going to add some life to this is I'm going to add some lights to the dials and buttons in here. Sort of 60s sci-fi style with just like when I watch the original Alien, some of the buttons. Lighted buttons going on and off. It looks kind of dated now, but it adds life to the scenes, no doubt. Bear Edwards over on YouTube says, fun to watch. I've been meaning to try out Procreate Dreams. It's so much fun. It's just so much fun. I haven't played around with it a lot since it came out, when I just did a handful of animations to play around. I've been busy with comic book work, but man, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. I'm actually, I'm currently working my way through a Procreate Dreams course myself, by Nikolai Lockertson. He's an amazing illustrator and animator, and he just recently came out with a full course on schoolism, and it's totally worth it. If you've never seen his work, seek it out. Nikolai Lockertson, Lockertsen, I think it is. You can find him on Instagram, you can find him on YouTube. I don't think he's on Twitter or other social media like that, but great follow. Beautiful illustrations and animations. He recently, I think last year or the year before, he did animation for Lightbox Expo. It was 2 years ago. And he's also done some official stuff for Procreate, and it's just beautiful work. And if you can find any of his work, it's a good place to start to study what you can do. He's made animations that look like they include 3D elements just by manipulating things the right way, so it's a good place to go. Okay. Not seeing any more questions. All right then. All right, so tomorrow, like I said, I'll be back. I'm sorry, not tomorrow. Friday the 10th, I'll be back with more work on this weather animation. Tomorrow I'll be back at 2 p.m. to do some more comic work, so maybe I'll see you then. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, all that good stuff on Instagram, X, Rumble, YouTube, and Facebook, the 5 places that I stream to. And I'll see you later.